Well, first of all, I think it's been a fascinating day. I think we're at an engineering school, and we are a lot of engineers here, and still I think we managed to address and to attract also the people coming from outside of the engineering faculty, and we've been addressing politics to some extent, and also social sciences, right? And I will start with I'll just go some buzzwords I heard throughout the. Steve, you said you were an integrator. You started off with that, trying to bring disciplines together. And you also started a discussion on probability of failure that will follow through this. But what I found very interesting was when you talked about shared values. I don't know really. It could probably mean different things to different people, but shared values. I found it very beautiful way of putting things, that you can do things together. And one of the things I couldn't let go of thinking of was how your legal system is actually affecting that. You have a different system than the rest of Europe. You have the British tradition and so. But shared values, that was what I heard. And then we moved on to Scandinavia and to Gothenburg, and then I, just to we are organized in another way. No common regulatory grounds. It's very, it's very distinct. Liability. Yes, this is the water system. They should provide services, and if they don't do, they will have to pay. That was very much a discussion that I think Nina and Stina also followed through when we had a question on, well, can't you do anything? I think it was Wolfgang who asked them, what about the people who represent 70% of the ground? Well, what's their responsibility in this? And Stina said very clearly, nope. Yeah, and I think, but still, we could hear from both Lena and Nina and Stina. They were talking about this cooperation. We can't do it on our own. That's what I heard very clearly. Very much in the latter presentation, the bottom-up perspective, whereas I think, Lena, you have more the from top-down perspective, but trying to cope with this in a very, this which is a problem, I think, for very many of our cities today, how to address these things. Well, Wolfgang, you really took us further into this of probability and failures, and whether we have a failure or not. And what struck me was one of the sentences that you brought in. You were the first one to say something about land, the coupling of water to land use. And that water is not handling of this water in the city. It's not only a question of handling drainage. It's also a question of actually handling the land, the ground. How will it respond to these matters? And sort of anyway indicating that the way we treat our water, the way we handle it, I should say, will also affect the ground and heat stress, right? But livability somehow I started to understand. I think and I think in the discussion, that the following discussion, I picked up the discussion on responsibility and liability also, because that was also essential of what you were saying, and that there are severe issues when aiming for new systems, taking risks. That's what you were addressing, and you also, which I think was quite very nice in this discussion, told us about the story how you convinced or who convinced whom in when you met the mayor of Innsbruck to try to persuade him to address certain issues. So it's a matter of communication, again, integration. Franz, well, you were very clear about creating conditions for livability, land use, heat stress, and also saying a lot about opportunities provided by the water. to live in. I think it was a very sort of positive approach, planning approach you talked a lot about. Again, the integrated, bringing people together, not only an engineering problem, this is a greater problem, if it is a problem, as we discussed later on, but certainly it offers possibilities for the future to bring water and probably also a better environment if we start addressing that. That was what I heard. We ended up, and I think that was a very, very nice end, because we had a discussion on failures, and yes, I mean, in general, I think the cities and the way we designed it as engineers, it works quite well. That was one of the discussion in the last. And then we had Maria Rolin to talk more engineering issues, how we can model it and how we can play around with it. And I think it was, you know, gaming, fun, you said, because I mean, also as engineers, we need really to stretch out to actually explain what we're talking about. And yes, we are a bit nerdy, and sometimes we probably need to adapt tools to reach out for people, and that might take some time, but still we're really trying. I think it was the discussion here has been wonderful. I'm very happy to have been here. And with these words, I think it's Karin to enter the stage again to do her part, right?
Yes. Before we leave here, I want all the presenters on stage. Just for a small thing. Tar du hand om den? We are, of course, very happy to to have all these distinguished persons here speaking for us, and also very happy for you being here, taking part in the discussions. And we have 2 small tokens of our appreciation to the presenters. One book on Lund University, and also some Lund University chocolate. So, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oops, this is not from you.
So, thank you.